meeting to order at 18:01. Could have got out of order. Had everybody a chance to read the minutes from last month?
Yes.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve said minutes?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Really thought she was coming back. She's probably been called to the side by a customer or something.
So was there not a digital copy of this? I thought there was.
Was it not a physical copy, or you said it?
Well, yeah, digital.
Yeah, oh, digital.
Oh.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
not this one, but the
Was
last
the last
email.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what, I mean, I was,
or maybe 2 emails ago.
I thought there was.
Oh, it's on March 16th. It's a different.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to go home like we've lost her.
Is this the same survey that we got last month?
No, I think she's adjusted it, updated it. Yeah, that's what I do at the end, that's what I do at the end of the meeting too, anyway. Exactly, there.
Well, and I think maybe the last page of the printed survey is our feedback from the emails you sent out.
Yeah.
So that might be not in the email itself.
Right. At what point do we decide anybody who leaves the room doesn't come back? When's the creepy music start?
I think it also, she did adjust some of the questions. So, like, based on suggestions, so it's like slightly different. Well,
Hey,
You have to do Go Mason?
I did, because I couldn't find it. It's probably with the Equity Commission. Please.
all right, did we get any citizens communication?
No,
All righty.
other than we have been named finalists for the award. Excited.
We've approved the minutes, so we are with you for the report on the Friends of the Library activities.
Okay, Friends of the Library continue to support us with funds for programs and other materials. They did okay a request for funds to purchase some books for the Pride event, so we're going to do a book giveaway for the city's first Pride Day. And they had a very successful in-person, inside the building book sale on the first weekend in April. So they're doing very well, and they're very happy. The remainder of the books from the book sale went to Inside Books and also Habitat for Humanity.
Awesome.
The books from the book sale, are those old books from the library that they sell?
Some of them are weeded books from the library. Some of them are donated from outside people.
All right, if there are no questions on that subject, we'll move on to the library director report.
Okay, so we're back to doing in-person programming. We kicked it off with Pet Fest in March, which was very appropriate since we were just about to do Pet Fest. I think we were 3 days away from doing Pet Fest when we went into lockdown. So it was nice to bring it back with some furry friends. The large activities like Pet Fest, Library Con, and Maker Fest are going to be in person so far. They're not going to be quite as large as they have been in the past for a couple of reasons. One, I found out that we were exceeding building capacity from the fire marshal, so we got to scale those back a little bit. And two, we don't know yet. There's a new version of the virus coming, so who knows? But we plan to do it in person. It'll be just a little bit smaller than usual.
What is our building capacity?
I don't have the total capacity off the top of my head. I'm going to say it's under 2,000 because it's based on the number of exits, I think. But I can get that for you, the exact number. Oh, I'm not done. Sorry.
Yeah,
I just spaced off for a minute. I'm sorry, I'm extremely tired today. Okay, so the stats are there. We're doing fine. Our computer use was down because we had that storm that came through. And when it came through, after consulting with our IT department, we shut down all the computers in the library. And the computer that was running the authentication for our public computers was 172 years old, and it just couldn't take being shut down and then restarted. That was too much. So we lost our public computers for several days while IT came and switched that computer out and then had to redo everything, put the software back on it, etc. So that's why that number is a little bit lower than usual.
When I first read it, I thought you meant like 15 million, and I was confused, because it looks like 251 cubed, but whatever.
No, that's a footnote. Yeah, let's see, what else happened? We had Pflugerville Arts Council did a joint art show. Generally, this time of year, we have the PFISD art show, but this year they, because they didn't know when they were planning how things were going to pan out, they went ahead and did a virtual one this year. So we do plan to have them back next year. Outdoor story time has been going on. It did not happen today because it rained. The Read Aloud celebration was very successful. That was paid for from a grant from the Greater Austin Reading Coalition, and the Friends of the Library also. I believe they did. Do you remember, Daniel? Did they match what they got from GARC?
That sounds right.
Yeah, I think they matched it. So that was a good thing. The plant swap was huge. If you haven't visited our seed library, we also have a cuttings library next to it. So basically, you can take seeds, you can leave seeds, you can take a cutting. Don't take the tubes, please. People keep taking them. And you can leave a cutting. So it's nice to be able to do that, especially right now when it's planting season. And best of all, Kitty Cafe is back. So we have adoptable cats at the library. I want to say it's the third Wednesday. Is it third Wednesday, Daniel?
I don't remember.
So I need to get building capacity. So I will let you guys know exactly when it is. It's once a month right now. And then
Is the Kitty Cafe designated one room?
it is. It is in the Lantana room. And that's it.
Awesome, as always. Moving on to discussion to consider action items. Go ahead.
Mr. I just have one question on the director's report. You have a footnote number 4, but I don't see it
Oh,
explained.
I'm sorry, that's just, do I have a footnote number 4? Where is that? Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, no, that should just be gone.
Okay.
That was a footnote from a while back, I just used the same template.
All right, the 2022 Library Services Survey Discussion.
Okay, so you guys sent me your feedback, and that's great. And I just sort of put it all together into one document. So I integrated most of the questions that I got that people wanted to include in the survey into the survey draft that I gave you guys last month. And there are also additional questions that didn't really go with the technology survey, but are questions that we can use on additional surveys in the future. And then just general suggestions are at the bottom. So I'll give you guys a chance to look that over real quick.
One of the things I thought about and didn't ever send you a thing, 'cause it kind of crosses over to our liaisons. Could we put something in there about, do you know that there are opportunities to work with your school and the library? Or, you know, that you can come to the library with your digit card? All the different things, if we can kind of make that succinct in some way.
Okay, like, we might do one that's just for high schoolers.
Yeah, so they know, because I don't think they know it exists. A lot of them don't know anything exists outside of a 4-foot range. And then they don't know, you have to sell it, you know what I mean? Well, why would I want to go there? What's in it for me? And frankly, you know, like, do you really have a good selection of books? I live in a small town, they probably don't have that many books. My library's big enough at school. Well, our library's bigger.
We have all of the naughty books at the public library. That should
That's
be
right
our,
there.
yeah.
We have all the books that piss off the government here at the library.
We could definitely do one that's aimed at
Because I
high
don't think the
schoolers.
parents would know either, do you see what I'm saying? So I think it's good that the parents would see this question and go, oh, I didn't know there were opportunities here, or, you know, we have lots of events and.
Yeah, we have a lot of volunteer opportunities. Did you have a comment or question, Carl? Okay. Okay, so we could definitely do one that is a survey that's maybe, do we want to do it aimed at the high schoolers themselves? Because they're too grown up for their parents to fill it out.
I almost wish
We
we
could
could have a
distribute it.
question that like, let them know they could go somewhere else to take it. Do you know what I mean? Like, we were talking about having them all on a page or whatever, and, I just feel like calling out that we have offerings for students, for, you know, college, get a reference, you know, our college credit, not credit, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
for being a liaison, it looks good on your college app and stuff like that.
okay.
A lot of people, whenever I did talk to the principals at the different schools, they had no clue. I don't know why the librarians at the schools don't think to contact you or,
They keep in regular contact with Amanda. It got kind of sketchy during COVID, but prior to that, we would invite the school librarians here for a lunch so that we could sit around and collaborate. So maybe it's time to bring that back.
yeah, maybe that's it. That would help. Foster it at that level and then have them be our evangelist on campus.
So in regard to the digital equity technology access survey questions, are you guys good with those questions? And are you ready? If not, please speak up. And then second part of that is, which survey do you want to work on next?
I think it looks good, the survey you got.
Okay.
About how the format of how the survey would go out, for the questions where we're asking, if no, please explain, would that be a prompt where they have to explain to move on to the next question, or is it completely optional?
We could go either way with it.
Because I would vote completely optional, because I think some people, if they got to that one on question 3, they'd be like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I think on that third question.
We don't have a fax or a copy machine. We have a copy machine, we don't have a fax. I'm just gonna take the fax part out.
Yeah, because it's not 1990.
Right.
The mobile hotspot, I think you should put some kind of quickie definition of that. Because there's, you know what, like, what does that mean? You know,
Yeah,
it's like your third question.
no, yeah, that makes sense.
Some small something, you know, mobile Wi-Fi spot or something, just so they understand what that is.
So we were kind of whispering over here for the if no, please explain part. Do you need that information? Like, what do you gain from those those reasons?
That was a suggestion from another, library board member, and, they had a good reason, I can't remember exactly, but,
Well, it would help us to figure
Yeah.
out what the barriers are, right? If they throw
yeah.
in some random thing that we didn't think
In particular,
of.
things like the mobile hotspot, you know, I have Wi-Fi at home or whatever. Sometimes people,
So, I mean, the majority of the reasons you're looking for, and if no, please explain though. Have you borrowed a library laptop? No, I didn't know you gave laptops.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that I could take a laptop, or,
you know, we could just make it a please explain, rather than if no, because, I would be interested to know if people borrowed the hotspot because they were going traveling, or they borrowed it because their internet was out, or, they just moved here, or, so we could just say,
Maybe
please
sort of
explain.
Please explain additional input or additional comments. Because I don't know,
Yeah.
it's weird. I feel like please explain is even almost demanding in a weird way. In this day and age, it's a very
But I
strange
said
world.
please, come on.
Yeah,
Additional comment sounds better. so-
Additional comment?
Yeah, additional comment.
Yeah.
Like, then it's
If you were really
totally
fishing.
open. Only tell me what you want. We're all peaceful here, you know? Yeah. But I totally believe, I'm cool with if, not if no, but I like the just additional,
Yeah.
because that's a conduit for so much more information.
It is.
Homebound services, I think you should like, at least say one, homebound services like, I don't know. See, that's just it. I literally don't know.
Okay.
Like, what would a homebound service
What
be?
number is
We
that?
drop books off to you?
I wish I had numbered these
Yes.
questions.
Yeah.
We do,
That's what we do.
actually. We
Okay.
drop them off.
I think we need to have like at least some kind of homebound services like book delivery. Just
Okay.
elaborate, because some people might know that they'll deliver books, but don't know that it's called that, and they'll say no.
is that the only homebound service?
It's the only official one. We have done things where if we haven't heard from one of our homebound people, we do a check, a call. During the pandemic, when we couldn't deliver to them, we just did hello, hey, how you doing, kind of calls to them, because often they're alone, so, yeah. But home delivery is our official, homebound thing. A lot of, and it's done by the Friends of the Library, actually, it's not library staff that do it.
I'll just say something like, did you know the library has home delivery, homebound services?
Or like, did you know the library has homebound services like book delivery? You know, like, you lead with the name you want to use, but,
When you say
Define
like
it.
book delivery though, that means there's more options other than
yeah.
just
Yeah.
book delivery.
Yeah, I mean, we do also unofficial, and I might need to dust this one off again. For people with mobility issues who maybe aren't homebound, we still have curbside. And we used to do, but I guess curbside kind of cancels it out, so it might be just a moot point. We used to do library buddies, so if somebody came in and they were not able to get to a certain area of the library for whatever reason, either it was just too far for them to walk or whatever, they could ask for a library buddy. Or if they had too much to carry out to their car, they could ask for a library buddy. But now that we have curbside, it's a moot point, so I'll just shut up.
It just sounds like we
About
have
it.
one homebound service, which is book delivery, but then
Yeah.
we have other services. So maybe, do you know that the library has other services like book delivery, library buddies? Go at it a different direction?
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm
we
saying?
do that.
I totally get what you're saying, Matthew, about like, you know, homebound services, it's plural, like,
So, yeah, then you're gonna be like, what other services besides?
Or, did you know that the library will deliver books to your home through our homebound services, or something like that, so
well,
that
but I was
it's.
trying to sell that, not sell, excuse me, the other stuff she was talking about. Do you see what I'm saying? Like library buddy, do you know we have other services like book delivery,
Right.
curbside, and switch the, you know, because you inadvertently are advertising, like, hey, here's what we can do.
Where's that question?
It's the third one on the second page. I know,
Oh, okay.
note to self, number of questions.
And I would add additional comments to that one
Yeah,
too.
definitely, yeah.
And I was gonna question if like, is this the order we want them in? I feel like some of them maybe fit better together, like,
Maybe reorder by topic.
Well, like the
yeah,
Wi-Fi questions are kind
Like,
of scattered, I'll
yeah.
give you that one.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi questions are kind of scattered, so if you group those together.
and maybe,
Good point.
I don't know if it's the intake, if it's, like, if they stop halfway through, we won't get that information, I assume. It's not like like, they have to submit the form or whatever, however we do this to get all of the information, right?
I will ask our web person about that,
'Cause
she
if-
is the one that, that puts it through all of the, we write it out and she does all of that.
If we could take, if they stop halfway through and we would still get some of that data, you would probably want to prioritize whatever is most critical.
Usually you're opening a channel to the database and it's not going to write to your database until you do a submit command. So you.
Unless it was like
Uh,
each question or something.
Right,
Yeah.
unless it did like a
Yeah.
wonk, wonk, wonk
And
each
we don't wanna
question,
do
and that is a
that.
possibility. I have no idea what you guys are using.
I think she uses hot jar or peach jar. I don't
Peach
know.
jar.
Peach jar.
I don't know if it's got incremental submits, but you might, yeah.
We do want to avoid, like, getting people distracted or not finishing it though. So if it's, I mean, that was one of our priorities, I feel like.
Yeah.
So maybe put all the in-task 12-month questions together.
Okay.
Is this completely, computer, based?
No, we can do a written survey also.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, how we were gonna do it in multiple different ways.
Okay, all right, good.
The last question on the second page, in the past 12 months, how important was it for you to use Wi-Fi from the parking lot? What is our goal with that? Because I don't feel like if everybody said, I don't care, like if it was universally, I don't care, would you actually pull Wi-Fi from the parking lot? So
No.
what's?
But we might look at, if it's utilized here in the parking lot, one of the ideas I had for future services would be, if we do the book locker / vending machine, they also act as a Wi-Fi hotspot. So it's something that we might consider scattering around in some of the areas of the city, like some of the senior areas or low-income areas that might not have Wi-Fi accessibility.
Well, that's an amazing question, but that doesn't give me a use for this question.
Okay.
Can we maybe nix this question and say, and I apologize if I've missed it, if it got into the last one, but how interested would you be? I mean, you got the book vending machine or book lockers. Can you put something, I mean, if you want to, second, now it's the second question on the second page. It's right before the homebound thing.
Oh, on the
So,
second page.
okay, so this one down
All right,
here
yeah,
is the one I'm
I
saying
got
to nix, the Wi-Fi, the bottom Wi-Fi one.
Or similar to your suggestion earlier, say, would you use, if there were like hotspots around the city with book lockers, would you use a mobile hotspot or Wi-Fi like we have in the parking lot at the library? So that you're still advertising that we do have that, but asking the question that you really want to get at.
Okay. Very good feedback. Okay.
I'm sorry I didn't send you feedback for, I read through them, but when we get here, it's
Oh, either way.
easier to like, you know what I mean? Everybody like, we can build off of each other.
Have you thought about incentives, get people to take?
I haven't decided what they are, or if it's gonna be like a random, I think it should be like a random drawing, I don't know how to do that with
A
an
random
anonymous.
drawing for a prize of some sort?
Yeah, something donated probably, maybe a gift card or something donated by their friends.
Mhm.
Okay, so I will, any more suggestions or feedback or anything?
See if we can get like lunch with the mayor.
Yeah,
prize.
coffee with the top, lunch for mayor.
Do that, on him.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, feel free, I'm sorry, go ahead.
One more.
City's treat too, but-
on the third page, in the second question, in the past 12 months, how often did you use the copy machine or public printers? Does it, I mean, do you care if that's separated or not, I guess, is like, because I feel like printers are probably more often used than copiers, but I don't know, and if that's something you'd wanna delineate, I don't know.
Are you gonna buy a new copier, a stronger copier, because?
We are actually, we rent them. Right now, we have
Laura
one.
Oliver to the front, to the start desk, Laura Oliver to the start desk.
We have one that is functioning as both a printer and a copier, simply because when the previous, it's a long story, the previous library director, for whatever reason, purchased the copier slash printer combo. She bought two of them, and then they died the same time, and we didn't have it in the budget to replace them. So we are currently using one that we're renting, I believe, and then we're thinking, do we need another one? But we're really basing it on usage. So we don't actually even have to have that one in there, other than I'd be curious to see how many people would use a printer or copier if they knew it was here.
Yeah. And a total side thing, you saying that, if you knew what the cost of a new printer, copier, et cetera, was, that would be the perfect thing to put out in the public that we would like donations for. Rather than it be the library and then somebody think, oh, they're gonna buy books I don't like, or, you know what I mean? If you get people to know, this is what we are going to get, I feel like they give more, because they know.
No, I agree. When you are asking for donations,
Yeah.
it's best to be very
Not to mention,
specific
it
about
kind
it,
of
yeah.
nudges the city that maybe they ought to fund their library a little more, that you didn't have to beg for a printer.
They're, in their defense, they do, they're pretty good with this. It was just that I did not expect both of the printers to die
Yeah.
within the same week, and they did.
There's this guy named Murphy.
Yeah, and yeah, he gets me all the time. So, rather than purchase new ones, because I think anymore, it's just throwing your money away. To purchase things, you should rent them, because then you get the upgrades and the updates, and then you have the option to update or upgrade after 5 years.
Right.
So, that's what we're gonna do. It wasn't in that budget. It's not that they're not gonna fund it this year. It just wasn't in last year's. I mean, it's actually, it is now in the fiscal year 22 budget. I'm sorry, fiscal year 23 budget. That's the one I just finished. So it'll be in next year's. Yeah.
For that one, the copy printer question, I would suggest changing the answer breakdown to something similar to in the past 12 months, how often to use the Wi-Fi. 'Cause to me, it just feels like often, sometimes, and rarely can be subjective. Versus the other one, maybe it doesn't need to be as detailed, because obviously people are gonna be using Wi-Fi more, but that would give you a better breakdown of like, I used it one time last year versus someone who says, yes, I used it every visit. I came to the library twice last year and I used the printer both times.
That's good.
All right, do we have any more questions about the survey?
And the next question, sorry.
Sure.
is- On the next question, there's just not an option for, no, I didn't use the website, so you might wanna add that. Yeah, yes. Unless it's just totally optional, I guess, but.
Any others? All right, moving on to our last item.
I have
Or
one
not.
more thing on that. So, if you have other things over the next, before the next meeting, please send them to me on that particular survey. And then, if we could really quickly decide on the next topic, so that I can get those sample questions together and we can have them ready for next time.
Do you have that topic list that you had last week?
I kind of have it, I don't have it with me. I was kind of hoping to do children and youth.
Nice, good to me.
That's not the thing, the children and youth is the next thing. I said
Oh,
that
yeah.
ask some questions, so,
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
okay.
Definitely, and we
I think
can,
that's good.
And those are the
we can
questions
add
that
the
Holly
liaison
said.
stuff in there
Yeah.
too. Maybe break it out into, like, not
Age
toddler,
groups.
but yeah, you know, and then give the groups and try to say, do you know that we have this, this, and this, and this, and break it out by age group? You could, I don't know how cool the Peach Jar thing works for you, but you could have an expand. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, what age children do you have at home? Okay, I've only got toddlers. It only shows them the toddler stuff.
Yeah,
That's
and
a
then
good
the high school liaison question could go in there. if you-
Right.
If you have high school age children or.
But if they only have toddlers, they wouldn't even see it.
And I think maybe as we're developing the children and youth one, we can develop that one that's specifically targeting high schools.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of it.
Yeah.
High schoolers, and that would go to the kids, and that, it would be like 10 questions, it wouldn't be
Yeah.
maybe 5.
Because they could, just have a thing where they choose, okay, I want to see the mid-age kids or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever our groups are, let them choose that. But it only opens up the ones that they really want, so.
This might be discussion for next time though.
Yeah.
How would you send it to the kids?
The high schoolers?
Yeah.
We are in regular contact with all the high school librarians.
So you could have them send it out.
And all the
Okay.
high schools give them addresses.
Right.
Yeah.
So using their school.
After the summer, then.
Yeah, it would be,
Yeah.
that one would for sure be after the
And
summer.
we'd really have to incentivize to get kids to take it.
Yeah,
Because most,
we'll dangle some game gift cards or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
The children and youth, I would like to get out during the summer reading program, when people are really thinking about it.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay? Thank you, guys.
All right, so now about the campaign to recruit student liaisons.
Okay, so this also is something that we can work on over the summer, because right now it would be pointless. It's the end of the semester and they're all going off for school. But I think probably starting maybe in August, we should start really targeting all the high schools and try and get one liaison from each high school. That's how we used to have it. And it worked really, really well, because they kind of started competing with each other as to who could bring back the best report. So I don't know if y'all are aware, but Landon Self has moved on, so he is not going to be with us anymore as our student liaison. What we're hoping to get would be kids who are sophomores or juniors, not seniors who are going to graduate in a semester. And I would like for them to put in a commitment for a full school year.
So, did you, before Bridget and I emailed the librarians, do you want me to email the librarians, or are you going to do it this go-round? It seemed like when we talked, sort of.
I don't have a problem with you doing it. It's just their work email, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with you doing it if you'd like to.
Could we organize one of those lunches that you mentioned just before we eke out the end of this year? Do you see what I'm saying? Let's meet the librarians. We might lose one or so, but usually they stay, right? So
Yeah.
being at the end of the year doesn't mean it's the end of their career, right? They'll be back. But that gets us a running start. We're in their minds.
When is the school year over this year?
It's
right
like
before
May.
Memorial Day.
Is
I
that
never
right
know when
before
that
the
is.
end?
People always do that. I'm like, I know.
Yeah, the 27th, I think, is Memorial
Yeah.
Day.
Okay, I'll try and do it maybe for the first week in May.
If you want, I'd be happy to go along as far as, a board human or something. if that
Yeah,
helps.
I'm fine with you contacting them. Let me look at our calendar and see what day I can arrange it.
We can do that offline, right? That's cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to do that offline.
Other ideas would be great in how to
Yeah.
get them to
I
want to
think pushing
come.
the college application thing, I think if we incentivize them, that's almost wrong in a weird way. I feel like you should be incentivized by, you need to adult now. You need to get in the vicinity of adulting, right? And you do some things that, aren't a rave, because it's going to look good on your college application. It's going to look on your resume in general that you've started doing things, that you're making an effort.
Yeah.
It's a very small commitment. And
Yeah, and we haven't, it's just the past 2 years have been just so terrible.
And so is it something they could put on their college?
It,
It absolutely is, yes.
yeah.
I would also, yes, Definitely reaching out to librarians, because librarians probably have access to students that like
What is-
aren't typically in other groups or organizations. But I would also say like student council kids are right, like usually very active and want that kind, or aware of that kind of thing. And so,
We sent emails before, we did the principal and the counselors are good too, because the counselors know who the stars are.
yeah.
Yeah, what, I was gonna say, what's so wrong with asking the librarians to recommend a student or one of their better customers
Yeah.
as an honor
Yeah.
and asking them to serve?
You know, I wonder if the schools would be interested in making the liaison kind of a part of student council. Do you see what I'm saying? Because you have student council elections. And, you know what I mean? Liaison could be, if
That's
not an
something to ask
elected
at lunch.
thing, but do you see what I'm saying? They could go to all of those meetings. And, do you know what I mean? That structure's already built,
Yeah, sure. All they can say is no.
right?
Do we know if there, if there's students involved in any sort of like honor society where they have to have so many hours? If attending the meetings, would they get hours, like civic hours?
I believe they do. We've had NHS kids before, and the NHS kids also do the regular volunteer work, and they get points for that, so.
Even some advanced classes, the kids who go to ACC, I can only speak for Weiss, the kids that go to the ACC college courses during high school ones, they get credit for community service, even in like literature and stuff like that. So there's a lot of opportunities that they need, that for. And if the schools could help with some kind of oomph, like, I don't know, they get a free t-shirt or something, because the schools all have t-shirts for all their football stuff, so.
I wonder, Daniel, if that's something that we might want to and this is off topic, a library board, but it still deals with the library. For the Heritage House Partners, like they could be the second on the first Sunday, a high school volunteer, could be the second person at the house. Anyway, we'll talk about that later.
No, that's great, though. I mean, it gives them exposure to different things and stuff.
I think it would be
You know,
good
oh.
to write not a job description, but a position description, and try to let them know exactly what type of student we're looking for. Because I've been here, this is last year, my second term. I'm still not sure what they do, because we haven't had that many actually come and say anything about their school. So I don't know if we're looking for something from them or they're looking for something from us.
Another idea, theoretically, what they're supposed to be doing is acting as the liaison between the high school students and the public library, and the teachers and everything like that. So telling them when we have a high school career fair coming, or if, what resources we have online that they could get, that they can get a digit card for free. And use all of our online resources from home. We could ask or make part of it, and I'd have to discuss this with Amanda, but she suggested it before, is make them part of our tag, like they would have to join the teen advisory group also, so.
Oh, we have a teen advisory group as well?
We do.
Oh, well, maybe that's why we're not getting enough people.
We have a lot of
Maybe
opportunities
asking
for teens,
Too many,
Yeah.
I don't know.
okay.
Offer their name on the website, because kids can be a bit on the vain side. If they can screen cap it and throw it to the college thing too, that helps them. So put their name on the website with ours. And if we ever have those volunteer lunches again, the volunteer
We
appreciation.
are going to have one again next fiscal year.
We could say that you would be able to attend with the board, the volunteer dinner, So if it's a girl, they tend to like dress up. The boys don't really want to dress up, but, they like a little pomp and circumstance.
Yeah.
So,
For those of you who weren't here before COVID, we would do a volunteer appreciation dinner here at the library, would have it catered and invite the board and all of our other volunteers, and each person can invite a guest. So We just haven't done it in 2 years, but
Oh,
we'll
it's
do it
been
again.
longer than that, because I haven't come to one of those here, and I've been here almost 4. I'm talking about the city one.
Oh, the city one, okay,
I
no,
haven't had one
the
here in
city
a
one
long
is
time.
completely different.
Sure, tell them.
3 city managers later, they haven't had one in 2 years either. And I don't know who they invite to those anymore.
It was like everybody who volunteered. It was like that whole hotel room.
It used to be
that-
everybody.
The ballroomy thing
Yeah,
would be filled with humans.
yeah, it used to be everybody, but I'm not sure when they changed that.
So
Like,
another-
I'm just saying to show them that we, you know,
Yeah.
that they'd be considered, you know, with us for real.
Well, they definitely would come to the library one, which is way more fun.
It sounds like it's
I
fun.
usually
I'd love
hire
to
a
go to one of
musician.
these. How long do I have to be on this board?
One more year at least.
Okay, so I get my 5-year one. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Another place to look would be the Scouts, Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts
Oh,
for
that's
candidates. And then one of the problems I see is that if you're gonna get kids that are sophomores, less and less kids are getting their driver's license these days.
Uh-huh.
So how are they gonna get all the way over here from Connolly or Weiss?
true. That's a good point. So maybe at least junior.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
I thought it was already junior, senior.
I was hoping to get them younger so that we could hang on to them longer, but we may just have to do junior, senior.
Like my kids, they didn't get their license until they graduated, so.
Yeah, mine didn't either. I couldn't, I don't understand.
So, I mean, one of
They
the
don't wanna
things from the further away schools is gonna be transportation.
Could we offer a virtual option for them? If,
I would have to check with legal on that, just because I have no idea.
sure.
Um,
But
Once a
also-
month, I mean, a mom or dad could maybe bring them, I mean, once a month. If it was regular, I totally understand, but
It
like,
might also be, I don't know, if they have to be present for the whole meeting, like if they want to, of course, that's fine, but if they knew that like they could just come for their portion or whatever, might be enticing.
I'll admit, I'm kind of against that, because I just feel like kids that age need to start adulting a little, and if you have to sit still for like a whole whopping hour max, I'm not gonna cry.
Yeah, I think it's just, you also don't want them to like be turned off by the, like,
But do we want a kid to support the board that we can rely on that can't sit still for 20 minutes? That's my counter, is what I worry about. I think they need to step up. I don't know, sorry.
No, no.
I'm kind of a little hardcore, I'm a little German
Well, you put it
sometimes,
out
but,
there as and see what happens. That's what I
Yeah.
think. I mean, we can
I
address
think-
this and massage this, again, if we need to, but
yeah, I think I'm just thinking about because they have so many like other activities or they have a hard time getting here, like if it's so that they don't feel like they can't volunteer if they can only come for, 20 minutes or something like that. I mean,
yeah, well, we've always
But-
had, if they've told us, you know what I mean, like, hey, I have to do a thing tonight or whatever, we've always been super chill about that,
Yeah.
like, if you wanted to do a report, send it to us, we can read it for you, we appreciate, we totally understand.
yeah.
It was, the kid that was on the swim team with my son, he had a hard time because swim practice
Yeah.
interfered.
Right.
Gabriel,
Yeah.
right. And then my son had trouble when he was doing swim team for a second, and his FFA always caused trouble too. So I totally get that,
Yeah.
but they still, they gave
Sure.
the report to Jennifer or I, and we could read it for them, then that's totally acceptable.
Right, yeah.
I just don't
It's a
want to
commitment,
shorten it
so-
it's a
yeah,
commitment, it
sure.
needs to be a commitment.
well, the normal length of this meeting isn't super long.
Sure.
The average,
We'll have 50 12-minute ones in a row.
well, the average is not very long, so
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're hanging there for it.
Do you guys want to structure or have like a framework for their report? Like, we would like to hear, George had brought that up, we would like to hear, about what's going on at your school library, what tests are coming up, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that would help them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
I have no kids, I'm
'Cause
gonna
Chance
rely
is
on
always
you guys who had kids that went through it.
Well, Chance was always confused. He's like, well, what am exactly am I supposed to do? So what I had him do, because I was in this weird position of telling the liaison how to liaise, I had him, his librarian or group or whatever, put out a big long page of all the things that were happening at the school. And I'm like, just read over that. Because my understanding it was, we wanted to know what was happening at their library. At school level, it'd be like, well, we're doing SATs, it would be pretty bland at the school level, it's
Yeah.
mostly the library specific. So he had that given to him, basically, and if he had questions, he would ask the librarian for clarification and then tell us. If there's something different,
Yeah,
then I
I'd
think
like
we need to let
hear
him know.
the library, but I'd also like to hear what's happening at the school level, because if they are taking, they have testing coming up, you know, we
Right.
have all of these resources they can access to practice.
Yeah, totally, so.
You could go ahead and say something to that effect, like we would like a monthly report, either oral or hand-delivered somehow, or ask you to meet with your school librarian once every 2 or 3 months and give a report on that,
I
on,
think we should meet
on
with the librarian
trends
once
in,
a month, but-
trends in your school library.
But we should almost talk to the librarians about this. Do you see what I'm saying? And go, this is what we would like to hear from this person.
Yeah.
So
I
can
think
you
that
work with them also?
The other thing too, like if we're kind of going back and forth, like volunteer opportunities, like that's great for the student to bring back to student council or to NHS or what other organization they need their hours. Hey, the library has something coming up that we can volunteer for, and then vice versa. Like, you know, oh, our school is doing this. Does Friends of the Library have anything to donate, or you know, whatever? I mean, if there's some kind of way we can benefit each other.
Yeah, I mean,
So
after
in-
hauling all those books out for their friends, I'd be like, okay, you can come volunteer for the book sale. Generally, I will say, with our student volunteers, we do ask for a full semester because it takes a really long time to train people. But having things like Heritage House, often we have events there, and the book sale, a one-time event where they could get a few points, sure, we'll do that.
Semester or year?
It's a semester, right, for our volunteers?
Yeah, not for liaisons, for
Yeah, not for liaisons,
Okay.
regular volunteers, I'm sorry, I should have clarified.
So
Well,
in
so-
the meeting that we are trying to set up with the school librarians then, because I'm just thinking, like, you don't want to put all the onus on the librarian to like handhold the liaison, like if the whole point is for them to like, do that kind of work. So if we can figure out, like working with the librarians to say, is there a space in the library, a board, something where they can take information and it's up to them, like they have to put it up, they have to present it in some way, but can, you know, you at least provide them a space so that after our meetings, they can come and put up where the library hours are, what are our upcoming events, or, you know, be like, hey, we're, you know, all the ninth graders are reading this book, so check this out at the library, you know, whatever we recommend to our liaison in their information to us, then they have a place to present that, because I also feel like sometimes we could tell them information, but I got the vibe, they're like, I don't know what to do with this.
Right.
Like, how do I get this to the other kids at school? So maybe the librarians can help us just facilitate that on the big level, and then it's up to our liaison to actually get the info.
Populate, yeah. And the information probably, if not be physical, because it's not like in the old days when you had stuff like written on walls, but they put it in a newsletter. So part of the liaison's other half of this would be to get information from us about what's going on at the library and give it to the librarian. The librarian would put it in the weekly or monthly email that goes to all the students.
So did you say we have a like job description essentially for this, or no?
Not really.
We don't really, but I can,
Yeah, maybe we should create one
Yeah.
that would be advertising for the
and
position.
that would be a good thing too, when we have the school librarians here, is to help
Right.
create that.
Yeah. Cool.
I don't think that it's changed. I know it hasn't changed in 15 years that I've been here.
This
so.
has been a really
Yeah.
awesome discussion, because
It has.
this program just kind of petered out for lack of love in a weird way. We're kind of just going through the motions, and I don't think the motions work anymore, but these are some really vibrant ideas to bring this back and make it better,
I agree.
so. All right,
It'd be nice to know what goes on in their school library, because we don't know what they're doing versus what we're doing and providing.
Well, and certainly, like, you can sign up for newsletters from each of the high schools, I'm sure, but like, the kid's voice is so much different than
Yeah.
what's being presented to the, to the public, so.
Yeah, I know our youth librarians are very much in touch with them, so I'll enlist their help too. I'm sure they'll have tons of ideas too. Maybe I can get them to come to the next, or at least to the luncheon. I know they'll go to that because they're going to want to chat anyway. Because they're, they work with them all the time though. It's a whole separate thing from what we're talking about.
Right.
So yeah, I agree. I think you guys came up with some great ideas.
When were you saying the luncheon would be?
Probably first week in May, is what I'm
It'd be
thinking.
nice to have one of us there.
Oh, I intend for you
That's what I
to
was
be there
saying, I
if you
was gonna
can.
go for sure, yeah.
I know that,
Go and say,
yeah.
we
The
think this
liaison
is
thing's always
important.
been one of my favorite parts of
Yeah.
this whole deal, and
So
it,
we're serious about this and we'd
Yeah.
like you to, help us out.
First week of May there is some EOC testing,
Okay.
just FYI.
Oh, look, if it's right before, you said Memorial Day that they're,
Yeah, the 27th is the last day of school.
what else is happening? Oh, okay. It's like, there's something else happening on the
27th
27th of
of
May.
what?
Now I remember
May.
what it
Yeah.
is. Okay, I'll try,
That's their last work day. The kids are probably off the day before.
okay. I'll see what I can do to get that handled before the end of the semester.
Yeah, usually the first week of May is EOC, and then AP testing is the first 2 weeks in May, but
all right. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Do I have a second? We have adjourned at 18:52. So much for that 12 minutes. Yeah, I told you.